Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you? This video was a ball ache to fucking edit. um, I first edited it on my iPad and then my iPad was like, we got low storage, so I had to transfer everything back onto my phone and edit on my phone. So it's been quite like literally hell. But in today's video, we're going to be doing one of my face charts again, as this is how I plan my looks out and this is how I execute them. This look is inspired by D.va from Overwatch. If you're a gamer, you'll know who she is. Obviously, she's quite popular. She's one of my favourite characters. I have a few mains. But yeah, which one is your main if you play Overwatch? So this is quite a lengthy video, I'd say, for the attention span that we have nowadays. So please do grab a snack and grab a drink and let's get into it. So we're mapping out the shape. Now this doesn't really matter if it's quite messy because we are going to remove it later on, but it's going to act as a background for our cut crease. Going into the Toxic Sugar palette by Maya Beauty, this is such a cute palette, I absolutely love it. And we're going to be blending out the previous shade that we put down, which was from the P. Louise You Give Me Butterflies palette, the pink one. And here we're not worrying too much about the blending, we just need to pack on the shades to ensure, the shape is there. For the previous shade, I used an Angel Co brush in the, I think it's the CH07 one, and that was a Jessup brush that I blended out the previous shade with. Here's another Jessup brush. Glamour kindly sent me her palette and I'm over the moon with it. Like, it is a really pretty palette and it gave me so much inspiration. So thank you if you're watching. Please go and subscribe to her channel too. I'll try and have it linked because she's going to start out doing YouTube and I just want her to have all the support in the world because she's such a sweet woman. So after applying the last shade, which was the shade out of the Glamour palette, we're working our way down the ladder. So going back in with the middle shade, and we're just trying to intensify and also slightly bring it out a little to have this like blown out effect. And this ensures that we get the colour pigmentation that we want. What I mean by that is that if we just did this blend once, it'd be really patchy. So going back into these blends ensures that we have the colour intensity that we desire and everything's blended like seamlessly. And with pinks, for me, it's kind of hard to blend, especially the darker shade, because it can look patchy on camera, but I do promise you it was blended in person. But you just got to keep going back and forth until you get your desired pigmentation, your desired intensity, and yeah. And because it was messy at the bottom, I decided to clean it up and I blended a bit of base underneath. And then we're going to go in with our cut carver to draw out a shape. We're sort of drawing it as if we're doing a full cut crease. And this is how we're going to remove the shadow. Like you can see the face chart peeking in the mirror. But that is a face chart that I'm doing today. Suddenly, I can't speak English. And then this is a wet wipe and a spatula. Well, a wet wipe wrapped around the spatula. And we're going to remove the cut carver because if we didn't, the paint would not set, it would budge and it'd be just a mess. Going back in with the base, I am using this to cut out the crease because we are going back in with eyeshadows and eyeshadows need something to stick to, and if we used a paint, the paint's dry down matte, which is why we wouldn't use a paint in this situation, because we need the tackiness of the base for the eyeshadows next to stick on. Also, I kind of drag my paints, but I do this thing where like I sort of tap it, then drag a little, tap and then drag a little, so it's not like full on dragging it. It's making sure that it's kind of blended, kind of pigmented, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, and everyone's probably screaming at me being like, stop dragging it, but it works for me. So what works for me might not work for you, and that's okay. Also, I woke up from a nap, so my voice is kind of croaky, so I do apologise. And the same thing here, so we're going to be packing on our first shade, which is from the Glamour palette. And I'm using a CH07 brush again. And when I'm done packing down the colour, I clean off the brush, like all the excess shadow, and I tend to tickle the edge of that blend. So when we go in with our next colour, it's going to blend in seamlessly. And there's not going to be any harsh lines. So in a way, we're technically mixing the base with the previous shade, if that makes sense. And I'm taking my time with this. You don't want to be dragging your brush all the way across the eyelid, because if you do, it's going to be a patchy mess. It's not going to have the same like pigmentation in one area to another, and it's just not good. So you want to keep doing circular motions like this, and then go into another area and dipping back into your shade. And then for the last shade, I'm using a pastel shade from the Maya Beauty palette, which is so pretty. And I'm using a doe color brush. And it's kind of fluffy because obviously with the last blend, you don't really need a tiny brush. You just want it blown out a little. And then we're going back in, down the ladder again, and up the ladder after this to intensify the shades, because again, if we left it, it would be a patchy mess. And we don't want that. We want a nice, consistent blend, because it's going to look fire in pictures. Also, you'll see in this video that I go in with a black from the Glamogram palette to deepen up the first shade I put down, the first shade of purple. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why didn't you do that in the first bit of the blend? And that's because black is the darkest colour, right? And if we applied that, it could go so wrong so quickly. So by adding bits of black at the end, it's giving us control on how deep we want the shade to go, if that makes sense. And this is on another Jessup brush, so you're going to see this now. And I actually just dip my brush once and lightly into the pan, and then I go in and blend it on the first blend, and you can see how it's dark in the purple without looking black, if that makes sense. With looks like this, you want to take your time anyways, because it's a process, you don't want to rush it. And that is the art of makeup. Going in with the cut carver from P. Louise, we're mapping out a full cut crease shape. Again, we need to do this to remove the eyeshadow underneath, so when we go in with our paints, it's not going to mix and go all mucky. Not only that, but when we go in with our paints, there's going to be a crisp edge, which is what we want. I did apply the eyeliner on camera, but I don't know what happened to the footage. But I used eyeliner, and then we're going to be cutting the crease. I do it this way because if the eyeliner messes up, I can literally cover it with the paint. So it doesn't really matter. Also, the less you layer up, the less the liner will crack. So I did it on bare skin, if that makes sense. And the same goes to the paint. Like if I laid this paint on top of a base, it might look a bit like thick, if that makes sense. So I apply it on bare skin because it gives a better finish. Also, when applying paint, you want to be blending out the edges with some base so it blends seamlessly into your concealer, because if you don't, it's going to have this weird harsh line, and we don't want that. Going in with the shimmer was actually, I did not expect it to be this pretty. Like, I don't know why, but sometimes shimmers never really go well on me. Like, they never really do well. But this was so pretty, and I absolutely loved it. And I think it went so well with this look. And with this, I'm using a cut crease brush, surprisingly. This is one of the new, like, P. Louise ones. Then going with the Glisten Cosmetics eyeliner in the shade Fig. I got this from the advent calendar that I got. I am so new to Glisten. I have just the eyeliners from the advent calendar, the liner brushes from the advent calendar, and the shapeshifter palette, but so far I've been loving their products and I really want to try more. So if you've got any products that you have tried from Glisten that you recommend, please let me know below what I should be getting in my order if I ever order from them again, which I probably will. But yeah, we're going to be doing a winged liner. I did an Instagram poll and you all said to do the whole face in the video, so here it is. I'm starting out by prepping my skin with some Nivea Soft Moisturiser, and then I'm going in with the Paula's Putty Primer. It's so weird because I said in my favourite products 2023 that I didn't really believe in primer, and then I went back to try this primer because I had it in my drawers for a while and I had some enlarged pores, and it actually works like in pictures and in real life. It's crazy. Also, this foundation is so underrated. I can't stop reaching for it. Like, it's one of my favourite foundations, and it looks yellow at first, but it actually like blends into my skin, which I love. And this brush from Peaches and Cream is now one of my favourite foundation brushes. It just it gives the coverage and also blends it out like a dream. Like, the coverage is still there, if that makes sense. I'm next going in with the curve case, and Mitchell signed this when I was at his pop-up event, so I'm really happy about that. But I'm going in with the shade Hollow there, and they just blend so seamlessly. It's actually insane. and I'm back using a sponge, but only to like help blend products in better, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a finishing touch in the steps, if that makes sense. I'm doing my nose contour right, and I did the cream version of my nose contour, but I forgot to like put powder on top, and honestly you don't really notice it, but like I'm kind of like, I feel stupid. But yeah, just do my nose contour, and then I've decided to go with the pink under eye. Now I'm not really a fan of this brand anymore, but they do have what specializes for pink under eyes, so I decided to use it, but I just don't really tag them. But yeah, I'm still going to use the products, but I'm just not going to purchase from them again, if that makes sense. But yeah, just blending out the concealer, and in between the step, like especially my forehead, I don't think I've included it in this edit, but I use my foundation brush like in between my bronzer and the concealer to give it a seamless blend. And with concealer under the eyes, you want to leave it to set a little bit because look at coverage, and also it doesn't spread out as far, which is also a good thing. And obviously we're going to be using a pink blush. This is the Blush by Made by Mitchell. It's one of my favourite formulas. I have a lot of like blush formulas that are my favourites, and this is one of them. Now, it's not an Ella look if you don't look like a clown slightly with the blush, because I love blush. Now this setting powder, like, I'm obsessed with. Look, it gives the best pink under eye in my opinion. It's just unfortunate it's that brand. And if you want to know why I'm so disappointed in them, I'm not even going to explain. Literally just go on TikTok and search pink honey drama and it comes up. This bronzer is literally perfect for pale girls. Like Mushroom Bloom is the best thing ever invented, so thank you, Mitchell. Going in with this blush palette that I got from the budget box from P. Louise, and I'm adding more blush. And if you're going to judge me, I'm still going to apply blush. And then we're going to be tying the under eyes together by adding shadow at the bottom, because it looks so good. You can't lie, it looks amazing. This highlighter palette is like one of my favourite highlighter palettes at the minute, and I'm using the pink shade to obviously match the pink cheeks, because when I turn to the side, I mean look, it's blinding. And with a pink look, you want pink lips, especially me. So we're going in with this lip liner from MUA in the shade Survivor, and I overlined to fuck because I love overlining and I do not have the money to get lip injections. So this is going to do, and honestly, I love it. Make sure to always blend the edges of your lip liner into your lips, because this is going to give a seamless blend for when you put in like the middle shade, if that makes sense, the center shade. And I always match my blush shade to my lip shade, like in the center. So I always use the same cream blush. And as you can see, it's cohesive. This lip drip is from an advent calendar, so I do not know if you can get this, but I decided to add it because it was sparkly and it just made these lips look juicy. And yeah, that is the finished look, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.